All right, we should be live everywhere now. Yeah, buddy. We're still getting used to the soft pads. Some of them play on a loop. Oh, okay, Steve says, morning, y'all. Might not be on long. Signal is weak AF. For a second there, brother, I thought you were talking about my signal, like the audio, but apparently no. Sergeant Major says range day is here. I wish. I gotta go shoot houses. I can't shoot targets today.
I mean, aren't the houses your targets?
They are, and I'll be attacking them with a drone from the sky and a camera.
Gotcha.
Camera. All right. Pitt Danny says the audio is good. I'm glad to hear that.
All right.
We spent some money and did some work, and let's do this. And good morning. Oh, look at that. There's a thing running over me. I turn all of those off. That's better. Good morning. How you doing this morning, Cameron?
I am... Man, I'm good. It's Firearms Friday.
It is.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And so it's been a little bit since we did just regular old, what you call them, DGUs. But we have a new viewer that wanted. I'm going to remind this one cat that I met yesterday that we're live. I'm going to go ahead and send him a text message.
Okay.
So you want to start us on our first DGU this morning?
Yes. Party on the yacht? Okay. Concealed carry holder shot man who opened fire on his car at McDonald's, prosecutors say. Who opened fire on his car at McDonald's, prosecutors say. The man has 3 pending felony cases in juvenile court. Whoa. A 19-year-old man who has 3 felony juvenile cases pending was shot 3 times by a concealed carry holder after he opened fire on the man's car in a McDonald's parking lot Tuesday, prosecutors said. The victim, 49, and his 11-year-old daughter, who's in the back seat, were both unharmed. So far, so good. Giovanni Castanon has carjacking, burglary, and aggravated battery cases pending in juvenile court. Ooh, according to prosecutors. He is the 27th person accused of killing or shooting or attempted to kill or shoot someone in Chicago while on bail for a felony this year. The alleged crimes involved at least 58 victims, 12 of whom died. Okay, carjacking, burglary, and aggravated battery. Look, y'all.
Let me get some clarification here. So the attacker is so the 19-year-old.
The 19-year-old, yes.
3 felony juvenile cases.
Right. Carjacking, burglary, and aggravated battery. And dude, aggravated battery, that's not the one you want. That's like battery, but aggravated.
Okay, he's the 27th person accused of killing or shooting or attempting to kill or shoot someone in Chicago while on bail for a felony this year. Okay, for a second there, I thought we were saying that this 19-year-old had 12 bodies on him. Okay, but it's not quite that severe, but still.
No.
You're 19 with 3 felonies pending?
Right. Well, and here's the thing, okay? Like, carjacking and burglary, the carjacking in particular, like that's not one of those, whoops, I have made a mistake, or this is a misunderstanding, right? Like, if you've been accused of carjacking, there's really only one way you get there. Well, I guess there's two. People could utterly lie, but then it's pretty easy to prove you didn't do it at that point, right? So, oh my. And, okay, I like all the color with it, I guess, with all the stuff with, well, you know, concealed carry holder in Chicago. How did you get that in Chicago? Okay, and letting people out on bail. What's going on with our bail system is an entirely different show. And also, prosecutors said the concealed carry holder and his daughter were sitting in their car at McDonald's on 106th Street near the Indiana state line when a masked man approached at them and began yelling around 5:12 p.m. So this shoot is justified AF.
Oh, yeah.
But the whole thing, concealed carry holder, I mean, good, and I like how we're stressing this is a law-abiding citizen versus somebody that has decided to not follow the law at all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the story's out of Chicago, so we're lucky that it doesn't refer to the 19-year-old assailant as the victim.
Yeah, right. Right, but at the same time, prosecutors said the victim and his daughter were sitting in their car at McDonald's. I mean, concealed carry holder, meh. But we've talked about this before where drug dealer A tries to rob drug dealer B, and drug dealer B shoots drug dealer A. I don't actually think drug dealer B deserves felony murder charges.
Right. Now, to be clear, under the law at present, and this is not me arguing with you, this is me clarifying for the audience. Under the law at present, in the situation that Cameron has just described, drug dealer A, who defended himself from an armed assailant, clearly attempting to murder him, would be charged with felony murder because it happened in the context of the two men being engaged in a separate felony. And my contention, and I think a good lawyer should be able to argue this enough for the precedent to affect case law. My contention here is that is entirely different than a situation like you're trying to rob the liquor store and Uncle Irving comes out with a shotgun and sends you to hell or the hospital with a gaping, sucking chest wound. You go to rob a liquor store, like let's say there's 3 assailants going to a liquor store. Only one of them is armed and only one of them commits a murder. The other 2 will be charged with felony murder because they were involved in the felony where the murder was committed, right? Or back up just a step. Let's say you go in armed with no intention of committing the murder. You just want to rob the liquor store, and the store owner pulls out a weapon and attempts to defend himself, and you shoot him when he presents his weapon. Let's even go so far as to say he fires and misses, and then you shoot him. You're not going to get to... You can try. You have the First Amendment right to speak freely, but you're not going to be able to get away with a self-defense claim in that situation. That's where felony murder really makes sense to me, because quite simply, the only reason that shop owner is dead is because you decided to make a victim of him. Now, in the case of the 2 drug dealers, yes, they are engaged in a felony, and let's put aside for a moment that there should be no laws related to drug use, consumption, distribution, production, because quite simply, the federal government does not have that authority under the Constitution, and the lawyers that argued for it are liars of the highest order. Let's put that aside for a second and just say, okay, they're engaged in a felony, and then one of them attempts to commit an quite distinct additional felony, right? Just because the guy is there to commit a crime doesn't mean he deserves to die. And it certainly doesn't mean that he deserves to die and be deprived of his life, liberty, and property without due process of law. I would go so far as to argue that in the example that Cameron cites, the 14th Amendment protection that protects you from being deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process of law should apply there, because the 2 felonies are so distinct from one another. He should be charged under the law because he is willfully committing a crime by being engaged in the sale, trade, distribution, production, etc. of illegal substances, whatever narcotics or barbiturates or whatever it is that he's engaged with. But I would argue that that is a completely distinct case from what felony murder is intended for, and that's to wrap up. That's basically there to wrap up armed robbers who kill somebody, even though they didn't mean to kill anybody. But you go to rob a store or bank or commit a carjacking, whatever, and no, self-defense is not a valid argument.
Thank you. And this rabbit hole brought to you by language in this article.
Entirely.
Entirely. Look, that whole rabbit hole comes from the pointing out that somebody's a concealed carry holder. Okay, great. But everybody should have a right to self-defense. Okay? I've said this before. Jeffrey Epstein, giant piece of shit, probably deserved to get shot in the face slowly. Okay? But he deserved to have a trial first. He deserved to not get suicided. Can we say Arkancided? Is that the working theory?
Yes.
I can't think of a clever way to say like Britain-sided or monarchicided, but I feel like monarchicided is about as close as it comes. But I mean, it was the Clintons or it was the Crown. Like it was one of those two.
The Crowntons?
Sure. But even the biggest piece of shit in your society deserves to not get murdered. So to point out this, a concealed carry holder, like again, that's nice, but we're people that think, no, there should be no such thing as federal gun law. There should be no such thing as state gun law either, but I can't control what you do in your stupid backward-ass state. I can, however, vote for people that will repeal all federal gun laws. And yes.
I wish I could vote for people that would repeal all federal gun laws. Let me know if any of them are running.
Right. So, anyhow, long story short, your right to self-defense, whatever.
I think on this case though, we're gonna have to give this one a go back to the range.
Man, we need new scores. Like, dude, he
I'm
fired out of his car, and his 11-year-old daughter was in the car with him. Like, you can't, like, you've been in actual gunfights. They don't go the way that they're supposed
I've had
to
some go pretty damn good.
You know what I mean, though. Like,
as evidenced by my presence on this show.
You know what I mean, though. Like
you're 100% right. a gunfight is not a well choreographed activity
at all. Okay. Anyhow, let's.
Before we get to the next DGU, Sergeant. Not that button. Not that button. That button.
There we go.
So before we get to the next DGU, I want to say hi to some people, and even before that, okay, Sergeant Major, we'll get another DGU. Keep your hair on. But Sergeant Major gave us a little breaking news, or at least breaking to me, because it's the first I'm hearing of it. Dad points out Cobb County School Board voted to hire armed guards. Man, I wish I'd have read that headline before we started the show. We could have opened with that.
Did an entirely different show.
But we'll come back to that maybe next week. I've got a couple ideas for some shows that I want to do next week, and
anyhow,
so let's say good morning to some people. We got Steve Rodemeyer with First Blood this morning. Good morning. I already mentioned His Majesty is with us. Good morning. Habeas Corpses, my man. And the newest addition to the infamous thread, Habeas has been a treasure trove of bizarre facts.
A treasure troll.
A treasure troll.
Yes, there we go. Megan Anderson, Will Banks.
Good morning, sunshine.
Pitt Danny.
Jamie's with us, so we got the matched set of Will Bankses in the audience. James just had a birthday recently. Happy birthday, James Royster. Good morning.
Pancho Ramirez.
Yes, sir.
And then there's another Steve.
Another Steve, and we already said Pitt Danny. And there's Mitch Grooms. Good morning, Mitch. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Mitch is a new buddy of mine that I met yesterday shooting some real estate
photography.
And Mitch is a car fag. He's got a YouTube channel that he talks about cars. They're just Mitch Grooms. So go check him out. Some nice classic cars, and like he was driving a Jag yesterday, good looking car. Okay. And normally I spend 35 to 40 minutes on a shoot, and we were hanging out chewing the fat and just BSing in the road in front of the house for nearly 2 hours yesterday. And I don't think either of us was late to the following appointment.
Right.
So,
anyhow, Scrimshaw Rose. Let's see. Your mom is here. Good morning, Mom.
morning, Mom.
And then,
Jamie Wilbanks says assault battery without the and. Jamie, do you know what an assault battery is?
yeah, it's a bunch of 9mm in a sock.
It's this guy.
Nah,
Just
I'm still-
building up a charge over time.
No, I'm saying it's a bunch of 9mm in a sock. A bunch of 9 volts in a sock.
Oh, yeah. That's a people thing. I'm a toaster and a bed sheet kind of guy myself.
Right? I mean, it's the same thing. Dan Burks, good morning.
9 volts don't get sharper the more you beat somebody with them. St.
Anyhow,
Michael's
and
with
then
us. Good
there's
morning.
St. Michael, and then there's Danny from TPS Report. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And I think we are, yeah, okay. I think we're all caught up.
And my wife's watching.
Oh,
Morning, honey.
Good morning. Hello, Chris's wife. How are you?
And my wife, God love her, she says, wouldn't need an armed guard if you'd armed the teachers. You know, that was
Did she just get top comment? Like she sailed
you know
in out
what?
of nowhere.
That's an absolute boom, baby.
Doesn't comment on the show for like 3 weeks. Sails in with one comment and says, ha ha.
And you know, part of how we protect our children is we've made sure that their teachers are armed.
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they're
called
homeschooled. Yep. Okay. All right. It's Friday. Let's do this. Let's talk about
Indeed.
more good
So
guys with guns.
what's our next DGU?
I don't know.
I'm working. I'm pulling it up there. And they wanted me to do things too. Okay, so I'm gonna spin that one up a little bit so we can see what's going on. Okay, there's the button. Apparently, famous Tate wants to sell me something, but no.
Not today.
Largo, Florida, which is not Mar-Lago, and I didn't know
Is
there.
it Key Largo?
Apparently, it's just Largo. A homeowner shot a man in Largo after 2 home invasions early Wednesday morning, according to police. Now, there's an interesting sentence.
How do you know it was 2?
Did he
Was it the
invade
same house
home
twice?
On Wednesday
Like,
morning?
were they in one of those?
Or was this perhaps the 3rd home invasion because it's after 2 home invasions? Or so did he invade the neighbors first? Just like
Was this one of those like townhomes where like both of their front doors face each other because it was a house that's been cut in half?
this motherfucker said, "Goose, duck, nope."
Yeah, okay.
So on Wednesday morning around 6:21 a.m., Largo Police Patrol responded to a call for service involving a man that had been shot. The injured man has been identified as Jeffrey Smith. I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I just hate seeing taxpayer dollars wasted on trash. Sergeant Major's right. It is range day, my man. Go back and practice. Officers say the initial investigation showed Smith entered the residence of the man by forcing his way in through the front door as it was opened up by the victim. Smith then entered the residence acting in an erratic and paranoid state and scaring the man as he ran outside to get help. Acting in an erratic and paranoid state. He must be an MSNBC watcher.
No, sorry.
No?
It's a good try.
You're not tracking on the whole we're going to have to fight our neighbors thing from MSNBC now?
Oh, no, I promise. I'm tracking on all that, okay? I'm just saying.
Okay, fair enough. As the man attempted to gain the attention of neighboring residents, Smith followed behind and kicked the door of another house, attempting to gain entry, but did not. We're getting some clarification on that deambiguization. Wow, there's a word I hadn't planned on using this morning. I'll have to dust that one back off. The man who was able to make contact with a nearby neighbor as... There wasn't a who. The man was able to make contact with a nearby neighbor as Smith continued to follow him. Excuse me. While the victim was at the residence of the neighbor seeking help, Smith approached the residence acting in a suspicious manner before he ultimately ran up to the front door and illegally entered after both victims retreated inside. Okay, so if I'm reading this right, there are 3 separate incidences of home invasion. It reads like he went into the first person's house.
Nope, you're not
and then
reading it
chased
right.
him into two
You're not reading it right.
subsequent houses.
I promise you're not reading it right.
Smith was shot during the incident and is presently receiving medical attention, where he is currently listed in critical but stable condition. Alcohol and narcotics appear to be a factor in this case.
You
don't
think?
say.
I knew
Smith
that
is charged
line.
with 2 counts of burglary to an occupied dwelling.
See, that's how it was. That's how we know it was just 2. They had to
Gotcha.
charge him a 3rd time. Yeah, I knew before we got to the end of it. Oh, Florida man acting crazy. Drugs are part of the okay, sure. I'm shocked by that. Okay, all right. Let's do another one. That one was not as for a Florida man story. I thought there'd be
Florida man stories are usually well, here, you know what? I've got another Florida man story. We'll just go ahead and do this one. Florida sheriff says man will absolutely not face charges for defending home with AK-47 style gun. AK-47 style gun.
So that means I could take it out and leave it in the rain for a week.
It's a can opener style spoon. Is it? A Florida homeowner will absolutely not face charges after firing an AK-47 style gun at suspected home invaders, a local sheriff said. See, this is why this is frustrating, right? Why not just list the name of the gun?
Because most people wouldn't know.
Exactly. But what they do know is, ooh, this is a big, scary black gun. Well, for starters, most AKs have the wooden furniture on them that is under the laws as pursued by these Democrat gun-grabbing nutburgers.
Well, look, it depends on the...
That wooden furniture is like the thing that separates a hunting rifle from an assault rifle. So you got the wooden furniture on the gun and a rifle grip instead of a pistol grip, and oh, that's a hunting rifle. Yeah, but the round is 5 times as big as the assault rifle that you have a problem with.
Oh yeah, no, look, 30 on 6 will put down a grizzly bear.
Yes, it will.
Like that's no joke. Here's the deal, though. It depends on the spin of the article. An AK-47 style gun, the complaint could have been lodged against him earlier in this entire legal process. We're like, oh, he fired an AK-47 style gun and he's crazy and he's this and he's that. And they're trying to make him out to be the bad guy. And so the response could be, oh, yes, he fired his big, scary AK-47 style gun in a completely justified manner, you twat. Somebody was trying to break into his house and he shot at them. And that just happened to be the gun that was closest by. So, yeah, that's...
I'm sorry. I just glanced over and saw Scrimshaw Rose, GM, Mrs. Chris, and I had a moment. I was like, "Why didn't you say good morning to Cameron?" Wait, why do I have? Oh, because the wife. So yeah, babe. People in the chat are saying hi to you.
Yeah, they do that.
Which
All
is
right.
cool. He started shooting for his own protection to get them out of his house and to protect himself. Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons. Holy shit, that, my man, that is the coppest name I've heard all day. Chip Simmons. Sheriff Chip Simmons. That's like, vote Chip Simmons, because cop phase.
Right, okay.
Simmons said 3 men, including one armed with a gun, entered a home in Escambia County just before midnight on July 7th. The homeowner was present when the 3 men entered the house and pulled out a handgun from his waistband, but dropped the firearm. The homeowner was able to run and retrieve another weapon, an AK-47 style gun, while one of the suspects picked up the victim's handgun. Okay, so it says one of them was armed with a firearm upon initial entry. So, real quick, just for clarification, if people enter your home without permission, they are armed, right? This is a safety lie. It doesn't matter if they're armed or not. This is exactly the same as saying all firearms are loaded at all times. Even if it's an airsoft pistol, a toy gun, right? And this is how I teach my children. Even an airsoft gun, it is always loaded. You never pick it up without checking to make sure that it's clear. And even after you've cleared the weapon, you treat it like it's loaded. This is a safety mechanism. It is a lie that it's one of the very, very few lies that actually does good. Because you know that what you are doing is you are making good habits against future problems to avoid them. If people enter the home uninvited, they are armed, whether that is true or not. And
Right.
if one of them is armed, they are all armed. Absolutely, whether that is true or not. You will treat them for your safety and the safety of your family. You will treat them all as if that is the truth. Because
I promise you want to keep going. I promise you want to cut this short and keep going.
We get a report of a third individual that had a wound to the... The homeowner then began firing at the suspects before they fled the home. Authorities were able to identify two of the suspects, while they discovered a third man soon after with a non-fatal gunshot wound to the head.
This is why we need new scorers, because, like, you shoot somebody in the head and they live, the problem is not your marksmanship.
And I mean, based on these images, I suspect they were not wearing a K-pot.
Right. Right. We got a report of a third individual with a wound to the head not long after. Like, could you picture that? Like, you're at the hospital going, yeah, you see what happened was...
The stories he's giving us as to how he got shot in the head are inconsistent at best. In short, we don't believe him. So what we're looking at is to determine whether this is the third person that was involved. Simmons said, while not identifying the man.
Probably.
So they're identifying the two that they're sure about. And then the third one, they're like, okay, we know that this is the guy that the homeowner shot in the head, but we don't know it, but we totally know it.
Oh, look, one of the suspects has a bevy of active warrants, including carjacking, aggravated assaults with a firearm, robbery with a firearm, and domestic violence battery. There's that carjacking thing again.
Yeah, what's going on? Guys, gas is $5 a gallon. If you're that broke, you don't need to steal a car. You need to steal a bicycle or a Tesla. Good luck with that, by the way.
Yep, I bet we could squeeze in one more if we jump to it right now.
Okay, let's do it. I'm just going to jump to this last one that I had listed because, surprise!
Surprise shooter acted in self-defense during home attack, police say. Police, I need help.
What's the problem?
There you go.
I see.
Police have determined the responding shooter at a house where 3 were killed and 4 were severely injured acted in self-defense when 46-year-old Jason Hunt was killed.
Okay, this is a surprise because I only read the headline.
Police now consider the man who fired the first shot on July 3rd, who police identified as Hunt, to be the sole suspect in the case, given the evidence collected to this point and the appearance of Jason's actions being unprovoked, according to a Monday news release from the Surprise Police Department. Hunt lived in the same neighborhood, and the homeowners invited him to a large gathering at their house near 144th Avenue and Carline Drive.
Surprise! It's the police!
R.I.P. headphone users. Oh, my God. That's like a surprise baby. No,
Danny says not. Bag limit.
According to new information gathered by the police, he arrived at the home, engaged in small talk with others at the residence, then went inside along with the group to eat. He was given a plate of food and sat down, but only a few moments later, he stood, pulled a handgun out, and shot at several individuals. One of the people who was injured from gunfire then shot and killed Hunt. Wow. You've taken rounds and you return fire with lethal accuracy. Police said they determined that the individual, as well as any others who fought against Hunt, were acting in self-defense and in the defense of other innocent parties. Hunt is suspected to have killed 38-year-old Carl Dinora and 41-year-old
Conradito
Navarro. A 41-year-old Navarro in the gunfire.
Yes.
4 others were severely injured and several more sustained minor injuries. As of Monday afternoon, police say Hunt's motive remains unknown and the investigation remains active. The Surprise Police Department. Boy, man, when they named that town, like, nobody went... Guys, maybe Maybe before we vote to certify Surprise being the name of our town, we don't have like an option B?
Right.
Anyhow, okay, this one's interesting. So, this was a mass shooter who was stopped by a good guy with a gun. I'm reading this story correctly, right?
I think so. Some of the shooter was the responding shooter at a house where there were
3 were killed. One of those was Hunt. So let's throw him out of the math. That means 6 victims were shot, and one of the victims who was shot returned fire and put down Hunt. So,
yeah. So Hunt opened fire, and then did I miss it? Did it not give the name of the hero? It didn't. It didn't give us the name of the responder. So,
yep.
But according to you read the whole.
Nope, I read the whole thing.
Yeah. But the guy that shot Hunt took a shot,
right?
got hit, and then returned.
Yeah,
This. You ready?
Yeah.
That's a DRT, baby. Dead right there. This hero just did his civic duty by saving the taxpayer prosecution and detainment money. Thank you, Jesus. I wish we knew his name. I wish we had his address. I'd love to send him a white hat for his troubles.
Pit Danny says, I guess he won't get invited in the future. Woo, dark humor is like food. Not everybody
Are you kidding me?
gets
If one of my dinner guests stops a mass shooting,
He doesn't mean the dinner guest. He means Hunt, who, surprisingly enough, will no longer go hunting.
he will not.
Man, oh God,
He has been hunted.
the puns, they're terrible, and they're all right there.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for this morning.
Hey, just to put a button on it,
Yeah, go for it.
I think we need to, even if we just do 1 or 2, when we've got other firearms-related topics that we need to cover, or self-defense topics we need to cover, okay? I think we need to get back to doing at least 1 or 2 DGUs, because remember, the original point of the Firearms Friday was they would tell you that good guys with guns just don't make a difference, and even if they do, it's so negligible that it doesn't matter. And so what started out as kind of a cheeky experiment ended up being probably the easiest show that we do all week, unless there's a serious topic to cover, because it turns out that good guys with guns stop bad guys with guns all the fucking time, and all we have to do is type the right stuffs into the Google, and here's a whole bevy of examples. And typically when we do Firearms Friday and we do DGUs, the stories are less than 7 days old. That's part of the point. So, no, this happens so often that the pool refreshes itself. So unless there's something that we're doing a follow-up on, like the guy that won't be charged for shooting at people with an AK-47 style rifle.
Right, and just to kind of bolster that point, just like this story, surprise shooter. This story is from Monday, the 11th, right? This one, we didn't even get to this one, but this one's from Tuesday, the 12th. The absolutely will not.
This one's a follow-up, so this
one's a follow-up,
so it doesn't count.
But it's a follow-up that was published on the 13th. This one, man with concealed weapon. Is from the 12th. And this one's from the 13th. Victim shot in attempted robbery in Wissinoming. Anyway, but yeah, that's, a big part of the point is that these things are happening every day, right? All around the country. The least generous estimates on defensive gun use from the CDC are 2.5 million. And even that report says between 2.5 and I think it's 2.5 and 4 million. Like there's a huge spread. And a large part of that is because the majority of defensive gun uses are not reported because there's nobody gets hurt, right? A bad guy comes to do some bad crap.
They realize the
You show 'em a
suspect is
pistol,
armed,
and
then
they
they're
walk away.
Yeah, well, walk away. They're
run.
their knees and elbows is what they are.
Yeah, and as soon as you got elbows and assholes going into the rear view, everything is okay. But to put a little something there too, do me a favor, guys. If you happen to be one of these people, just because the bad guy got away, just because you're safe now, call the police, make the report, send them to find him. They may not find him. But guess what? Now there's a paper trail. Well, I want that to be my legitimate advice, so that we have that better paper trail that shows the defensive gun uses and the like. But it is also fair to say it's dangerous to trust the police. I mean, I wish that weren't the case, but it has shown to be the case time and again. Now, it is Friday, so got to button up and get down the road, do some work. So, safety briefing. Y'all, we're going into the weekend. This is I'm home with the kids playing Mr. Mom all weekend this weekend, so I'll be keeping an eye out for hot stoves and high places, because I still have little suicide machines running around, and just a full-time job to keep them alive. It's been hot, guys. Drink water. Keep calm and carry one. Don't drive drink, and don't fry bacon naked. We love you, and we'll see you Monday morning. Thanks for watching.